If you have ever wrenched on cars, even just a little bit, it's remarkably easy to leave some tools lying around. It's remarkably easy to do that. And this is a surprising story here. But I've done this before. For example, I lost my favorite little 1/4-inch drive ratchet wrenching on Stroker Jeep because I set it down and it fell into the intake manifold area behind the fuel rail, and it just like perfectly sat underneath there, so perfectly. I didn't see it, and the reason I'm telling you this is because, well, this happened to someone else, but maybe with a little bit bigger of a consequence than if I do this. But no, I've done this, like I said, and I've left that ratchet there. And what's crazy is I thought I lost my favorite ratchet, well, favorite 1/4-inch drive at least. And I couldn't find it for weeks and weeks on end. And actually probably a couple of months went by. And I finally moseyed my way on down to the hardware store and bought another one to replace it. Which, by the way, if you know anything about wrenching on, it doesn't even have to be cars, just doing any sort of work with tools. As soon as you lose a tool and you can't find it, as soon as you replace that tool, the lost one will show up as well, and now you have two tools. And this was exactly the case for me. I replaced my little 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and then I opened the hood on the Jeep to do, I can't remember what it was, and I saw my original one sitting there, just kind of underneath the fuel rail. I saw the shine of it poking out underneath there. And it's not even like a tight space. Like you would have thought I would have seen that. I mean, that's not even a very hidden space, not like modern cars with all this stuff. It's a pretty open space there. So, but this happened to a Airbus A380. And get this, it flew nearly 300 hours with a missing tool in the engine. Yeah, 300 hours. And this is from the airline Qantas. You have to excuse me there. I've been getting over a cold and I'm just hacking on the microphone here. But anyway, it's a Qantas Airbus A380, and it flew 34 times with a 4-foot, 1-inch nylon tool, which is used to turn, apparently, the engine's intermediate pressure compressor during borescope inspections. And I'll pretend that I know what's going on there. I will pretend that I know what that is. I know cars. I don't know jet engines. If you would like to start a competing radio show, the Automotive ADHD show, where you talk about aircraft and stuff, that would be, I actually think that would be pretty entertaining. But anyway, so it was wedged inside of one of the engines. It's a Rolls-Royce Trent engine, and it got stuck, I guess, maybe more in the front portion of it. But either way, this plane flew from December 6th, 2023 to January 1st, 2024. So technically old news, but this just became public now. And apparently it didn't cause any issues. And investigators, this ultimately is in Australia, by the way, I should have mentioned that, determined that the tool, they say, was left in the engine previously during scheduled maintenance in Los Angeles. And, it never caused any issues, but you have to wonder, was someone missing their tool? Some technician was missing the engine intermediate pressure compressor nylon 4-foot tool. That doesn't roll off the tongue very well, does it? But you would think a 4-foot tool. I have a breaker bar that's about 4 feet. I would notice that it's missing in my toolbox. I would notice that there is a big gap where it probably should be in the toolbox. Now, don't get me wrong. My garage and my toolbox is no example of being organized. In fact, if you're watching on video, I'm here in the AM 1460 The Answer radio studio again, not the garage studio, because the garage is such a total mess, and I haven't had time to clean it. So really, I'm not the example you should be looking to for, finding organizing your tools and things like that. But a 4-foot tool, that to me, you really, and then what? What, you have the next job? You got another plane that comes in for a engine intermediate pressure compressor bore scope inspection. See, I'm learning. You get another plane that comes in for that. And then you go to grab your 4-foot tool and it's not there. So what do? I guess you borrow your buddy's tool. But I feel like in the aviation industry, this is a little more locked down. Like I said, I don't know a ton about aviation, but I do like aviation as a maybe from afar. I would love to get into it. It's just, believe me, it's even private aviation is so expensive. I'm complaining about my car stuff being expensive. That's nothing. That's not even close to Project Airplane stuff. Project car stuff, no, that's easy. So anyway, I would think there's some sort of rules, and I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are, where you have to check your tools in, you have to keep track of everything, you have to have a checklist for this very reason. Now, thankfully, nothing happened to this aircraft in almost a year of commercial service. Thankfully, nothing happened, but I know for a fact that catastrophes, disasters have happened before because somebody left a tool where they shouldn't. So that's why they keep track of tools. Now, again, thankfully, this turned out not to be an issue, but I have a feeling they're going to pull that tool out of the engine and then look at whose name is on it. And whoever's name is on it, he should probably be looking for another job. Like right now, start looking now. So, if you forget a ratchet in your car like I did, no big deal, but an airplane, an Airbus A380, a little bit bigger. So anyway, hey, coming up after the break, we're talking more cars right here and EV tax credits here on Automotive ADHD.